There is a story in every good song. And behind every good song, there is a great artist. For veteran artists, it takes years to develop this talent. For Avril Ramona Lavigne, it began when she was 2 years old. Just a baby, she would sing along with her mom in the kitchen. Judy Lavigne's religious harmonies nurtured little Avril into a world of music. Her shining moment would come 12 years later. At 14 years old, Avril sang along side by side with her idol, Shania Twain. Record exec L.A. Reid was blown away by Avril's superstar demeanor. He signed Avril to Arista Records. Reid was impressed by 16-year-old Avril's exuberant confidence. Although she is a petite girl, she developed a tough girl persona. She's been called the pop-punk princess, alternative rocker, a skater girl, and ultimately, the Britney Slayer. She took the world by surprise with her hit song, Complicated.
I was crazy about the song Complicated. When I was in 3rd grade, when it first came out, I loved that song. I thought she had the most amazing voice. I was a huge fan.
For me, Complicated is actually that balance of a little bit more poppy, but it still has this raw kind of rock sound to it that I think ultimately is what she was going for. And to me, that's why I love Complicated, the song.
To date, she has sold over 30 million albums worldwide. This is the story of Avril Lavigne, the pop-punk princess who sung her way from the little town of Napanee, Canada, to the hills of Hollywood. What seemed like a normal day for the Lavignes, a young French-Canadian couple, was everything but normal. They were expecting their second child. Judy Lavigne felt the kick. It was time, and the baby was coming at the speed of a rock drummer's beat. The baby girl surprised everyone with her arrival on September 27, 1984. This marked the second spirited occasion for Jean-Claude and Judy Lavigne. Brother Matthew was born 2 years earlier. Jean-Claude named their bundle of joy Avril Ramona. Ironically, the baby girl, named after the month of April, would take the music industry by storm just 16 years later. The Lavignes, a working-class French-Canadian family, believed early on in Avril's talents. Avril, then a tiny 2-year-old, gave on-the-couch performances for Mommy and Daddy. Her father later purchased instruments and built a small studio in the basement of her family home. The studio gave Avril the startup she needed to launch her music career. At the age of 12, she taught herself how to play the guitar. Avril would later take her talents on the road. She began singing at country fairs and performing at karaoke sessions. At age 14, Avril began writing her own songs. She later created her first song titled Can't Stop Thinking About You. She describes it as a cheesy, cute song. At the tender age of 15, Avril graced the stage with country music star Shania Twain. She was lucky. She'd won the radio-sponsored contest on her first trial. As the winner, she was given the opportunity to perform with fellow Canadian Shania Twain. Shortly after her appearance with Shania Twain, Avril's career began to take off. At the age of 16, she signed her first record deal with Arista Records. RCA Records later purchased Arista Records. Avril was quoted, "I've known all my life this is what I was supposed to do." Before meeting Shania Twain at age 14, Avril said she would daydream all day about being famous and super successful. Meeting Shania was a shining moment in her young budding career. Avril did not realize, however, that this would bring her one step closer to her dream of being a recording star.
It's a lot about the luck of the draw, but she has a gift. I think she's great.
Even if you have the whole natural ability thing, I think you have to nurture it and to continue working toward perfecting it throughout your life.
I do believe that some people are born with natural gifts, and in Avril's case, she was definitely born with a gift, with a natural gift.
In 2002, the music industry's record sales were steadily on the decline. Some music critics say Avril Lavigne is a savior of sorts. She almost single-handedly saved the music industry in 2002 with her string of hits such as Complicated and Skater Boy, from her chart-topping album Let Go. Let Go, at the time, sold over 4 million copies. Rappers Eminem and Nelly were the only other artists who outsold the 17-year-old pop rocker. Eminem managed to sell 1 million copies of The Eminem Show within the first week of its release. By the end of 2002, Eminem sold 8 million units of his album. Nelly's album, Nellyville, respectively sold 5 million units. Prior to that, in 2001, not one album had sold over 5 million units. The record companies, like EMI, were blaming sluggish sales on piracy, consumers with CD burners, and music file sharing site Napster. EMI had lost the lion's share of the profits. The company saw a decline of over $100 million in sales in 2001. This led them to continue their pursuit after file-sharing giant Napster and their users who were responsible for most downloaded music. In January 2002, EMI decided to let pop diva Mariah Carey go after signing her to a lucrative $80 million contract a year earlier. They dropped the multi-platinum selling Carey from the label because her album Glitter produced low record sales. Mariah walked away with a large sum of money. She received a payout of $49 million. The label made a string of cuts, mainly on artists whose albums weren't selling. She was not the only artist to get the axe. 1 month earlier, rock legend David Bowie was also cut from the label. The road to success came pretty easy for Avril. It seemed like it was total destiny. She started working on her music career at a very young age. She wrote and recorded many songs in her home studio. She later began performing locally around her community in Ontario, Canada. While performing country songs at a bookstore, Avril was discovered by her first manager, Cliff Fabry. Fabry feverishly worked on getting a record deal for young Avril. After submitting several home videos of Avril and taking meetings with several record executives, Avril signed a record deal. It was reported that L.A. Reid, who at the time was head of Arista Records, was so impressed with Avril, he signed her after a short 15-minute audition. L.A. Reid is also responsible for signing the widely popular Canadian pop act and teen heartthrob Justin Bieber. From day one, Avril took control of her image. L.A. Reid believed in Avril's tough skater girl persona. He told her, "You look like you already have it together." She wasn't given a huge team of makeup people, and she didn't have 50 different stylists pulling at her like a rag doll. L.A. Reid was really feeling her style, so they let the pop rocker do her thing. Avril has grown up in front of the cameras, and she has long lost the skater girl look. Avril brilliantly weaved out of the rough adolescent years. She's blossomed into a sophisticated young lady, and the fans have quietly embraced Avril's wardrobe changes over the years. Avril was so confident with her record deal and having earned close to $1 million in an advanced bonus that she immediately dropped out of high school at age 16. She informed her parents they were not happy with her decision.
I do feel that an education is important, but I also feel if she knew in advance that she wanted to pursue a career in music, that once she got the chance, I think she did the right thing for her, because you never know if that chance would come again in the future.
You obviously want your kids to get a good education and all that, but in Avril's case, she had a record deal. So if my son or daughter had a record deal and it was actually like, it's a done deal, I mean, I'd be hard pressed to say, oh my God, you have classes tomorrow. Any parent's knee-jerk reaction is, no, stay in school, get an education. But, if they actually have a record deal or they actually have something concrete in motion, I think I would probably, support their decision to just pursue their dreams full time.
The Lavignes reluctantly supported Avril's decision. With continued success and having sold millions of records to date, Avril does not regret her decision to drop out of high school. In recent years, Canada has produced several platinum-selling acts. Acts such as Shania Twain, Alanis Morissette, Nickelback, rapper Drake, Justin Bieber, and Avril Lavigne. Canada's production of an insurmountable number of successful acts can be considered equivalent to the British rock band invasion of the US in the 1960s. The British invasion, as it was termed, started with Beatlemania. The Beatles, a four-member boy band, topped America's music charts with their breakout hit song, I Want to Hold Your Hand, in 1963. The Beatles band was formed in Liverpool, England in 1960. The group was composed of Paul McCartney, George Harrison, Ringo Starr, and lead vocalist John Lennon. The Beatles, like Justin Bieber, had a huge teen girl audience. The Beatles also had a big impact on America's pop rock culture. They've left a remarkable impression on the American culture. The Beatles inspired America's hippie culture. The hippie culture was spawned by rebel youths who protested against America's involvement in the Vietnam War. Lead singer John Lennon inspired many protesters with his soulful rock song, Give Peace a Chance. The Vietnam War was widely protested against America's youth throughout the 1960s. The war claimed over 50,000 American soldiers' lives. It was a sad time and also an exciting period in American history. American hippies are most notably known for smoking cannabis, or what's commonly known as marijuana. The Woodstock event, held in upstate New York in 1969, is the most popular gathering of hippies ever. The media labeled it a hippie fest. It's been reported almost 500,000 people showed up for the three-day festival. A 600-acre dairy milk farm was the host of this historic event. Over 100,000 hippies made the trek to the milk farm by way of New York State Thruway. The roadway was backed up for several miles. It was literally backed up with thousands of German-made Volkswagen Beetle cars. Ironically, one of Avril's favorite bands, Creedence Clearwater Revival, also known as CCR, was the first act to sign on to do the Woodstock concert. The concert was played by a list of who's who of rock and roll. The long list of stars included Janis Joplin. Janis Joplin introduced a rock combined with blues melody style. She was commonly known for three different genres. They were rock blues, hard rock, and psychedelic rock. The wild child Jimi Hendrix obliged everyone with his presence. Santana and the Grateful Dead were among the list of 30 other bands that rocked for 3 intense days in the name of peace and love. They rocked on for 3 days in the rain. The drenched, mud-soaked valley did not have an impact on the rock festival. Many concertgoers were just happy to be a part of this historical event. The Canadian invasion, on the other hand, has come to America during a time of tolerance and acceptance. It came on the heels of an evolved America. America has gone through a drastic change and recently elected an African-American president, Barack Obama. Barack Obama was elected by an overwhelming majority in 2008. Canadian teen superstar Justin Bieber has performed for the Obamas on 2 separate occasions at the White House. Although she is far from her Canadian home, Avril continues her Christian traditions.
I think it all comes down to family, and religion was definitely part of her family, but I think that young artists, particularly in Avril's case, it obviously played a large role in her upbringing, and it obviously has shaped the way that she looks at life in general, and she channels that energy and that outlook into her music.
Her increased popularity has motivated her to take an aggressive approach to support worldwide charities. Her most notable and politically charged endeavor was her involvement in the fight against human persecution to end the civil conflict in the African county of Darfur. Avril recorded a cover song of John Lennon's original hit song, Imagine, as her contribution to the album for the Amnesty International campaign to save Darfur. On September 14, 2010, Avril formed a partnership to create her own charity, the Avril Lavigne Foundation, which mainly focuses on helping children with serious illness and disabilities. She partnered with the Easter Seals and the Make-A-Wish Foundation to raise awareness and to help fight life-threatening diseases that affect children globally.
I definitely admire Avril for her work for her charity work, for especially working with kids who need any assistance, and I think it's wonderful that she uses her public image for the greater good in the world.
When you become successful, any way you can give back to your community or to your society or to the world in general, I think that's good.
When Avril first entered the spotlight with top 10 singles Complicated, Skater Boy, and I'm With You, Avril embraced the skater girl gothic fashion style. She wore dark eyeliner and heavy eyeshadow around her eyes. Most of her clothing hung off or around her body. She clung to this style of fashion because she wanted to maintain her identity. She refused to be another fake, made-up artist. This is who she was in high school. She was a hardcore skater girl then, and she refused to change her style. She wore neckties and t-shirts and was dubbed the pop-punk princess by the media.
No one was really like Avril Lavigne before her. She was, pop punk, I don't give a crap kind of attitude, and don't mess with me attitude. Just, it was new and it was fresh, and she rocked it.
Facing criticism from the media for her rebellious punk look, Avril began to wear more conservative wardrobe. In 2004, 2 years out of the skater girl image, she was seen more often in jeans and heels. This caught the attention of high fashion magazines like Harper's Bazaar, who later called her for a photo shoot. In 2010, the pop rock star was featured on the cover of Maxim, a popular subscriber-based men's magazine. The cover was aptly titled, "Rock's Sexiest Bad Girl Exposed." Her 2004 Maxim dress reads, "Did you think I was gonna give it up to you?" This was a clear display of her girl power manifestation. Lavigne was reportedly out with some friends at swank Hollywood restaurant, the Chateau Marmont. She was allegedly approached by Lindsay Lohan during her outing with some friends. Lindsay attempted to say hi to Avril. Avril supposedly snubbed Lindsay, calling her fake and a loser. Lindsay then tried to get security to remove Avril from the restaurant. Security refused, and Lohan reportedly stormed out of the Chateau Marmont to avoid facing further embarrassment. Avril feels lonely without her dog Sam. Sam is a cute Schnauzer Terrier hound. Her parents have Sam. With her grueling road schedule, she doesn't have the precious time it takes to care for a pet. She hopes in the future things will slow down and she will have the chance to raise her dog. It was somewhat of a fairy tale marriage. On July 15, 2006, a rare-looking Avril Lavigne dressed up in an elegant, classically designed Vera Wang wedding dress. She married her friend and sweetheart, Derek Whibley. Some say the two pop rockers were a match made in heaven. But to everyone's surprise, the young couple's marriage ended up like most Hollywood marriages. It was short-lived and sadly ended in divorce. It was rumored that Avril went into her tough chick mood. She did not like the responsibilities of marriage and she wanted out. The couple grew apart. She kicked him out of their $9 million mansion and started dating other guys.
I don't know exactly why most celebrity marriages end in divorce. They were both musicians. I don't know how their schedules worked together, how much time they actually spent together when they were each touring. And also, I think they were both so young at the time when they got married that maybe they just grew apart or didn't even get to know themselves first before jumping into a marriage together.
She was very young, 21 as a kid, and to be getting married at that age, I think anyone that gets married at 21, whether you're in show business or not, it's probably going to fail. So she had the deck stacked against her.
After legally separating from Derek, Avril started dating Brody Jenner, the star of MTV's reality show, The Hills. The Brody Jenner and Avril story turned out to be more than just Hollywood gossip. The couple was caught on camera sharing a car ride to their hotel. They were annoyed with the paparazzi. There are reports that the couple spent hours drinking at the Red Rock Bar in Hollywood. Brody Jenner is the son of Olympic gold medalist Bruce Jenner. Bruce Jenner is also the husband of reality TV star Kris Kardashian, the mother of Kim, Khloe, and Kourtney Kardashian. Avril admits she was known as a bad girl in high school back in Napanee, Canada. She hung out with the skater crowd. As a skater chick, she often got into trouble for throwing jelly beans at the teacher. The marriage to Derek Whibley brought out the aggressive side of Avril. She sought to regain control of her life. She did not want to be married to Derek anymore. Some critics say she's still got that bad girl attitude. Avril's marriage to Derek Whibley lasted a little over 3 years. Just 3 years into the marriage, the couple were officially separated in October of 2009. The court papers cited the only reason for the divorce as irreconcilable differences. No one knows what these differences were. Before their marriage, Derek was known to have a drug problem, but he stopped after Avril pleaded with him to get help. She took a firm stance and said she would not tolerate or put up with anyone that does drugs. Their divorce leaves some people wondering, was this the reason for their breakup? After the split, Avril kept the couple's Beverly Hills mansion, her musical instruments, all of her music, their Volvo car, and other personal items like awards, clothing, and artwork. After their divorce, Avril and Derek remained close. Derek stayed on board to produce music for Avril's 4th album. The two of them reportedly share matching tattoos. Avril uses her body to tell the story of her life and special relationships. She has tattoos of her favorite curse words, boyfriends' names, and dates of significant achievements on her body. Avril has been labeled the Britney Slayer, primarily because she dominated the charts in 2002 during the time Britney Spears was on hiatus. Avril does not want to be demonized as the Britney Slayer, but she does, however, embrace the idea of being able to stand up to her record label. She does not let them tell her how to dress and what songs she should sing. Britney Spears is a product of the Disney Channel's The New Mickey Mouse Club. Britney Spears began singing and dancing at a young age. Her big break came with the New Mickey Mouse Club show in 1992. After the cancellation of the Mickey Mouse Club show, she sought a record deal. Times were hard, but she remained resilient. After signing with Jive Records, Britney's dance song Baby One More Time climbed its way up the music charts. The hit single sold 500,000 copies in one day. Britney combined her dance talents with her singing and took her act on the road. She performed in sold-out arenas and enjoyed the benefits of lucrative endorsement deals. Soda giant Pepsi signed Britney to an $8 million endorsement deal. Britney Spears has since sold over 100 million albums worldwide. She is an international pop culture icon. Avril says she respects Britney for her musical accomplishments. Avril's relationship with Brody Jenner seems to be very intimate. The couple ventured to Canada to celebrate the 2010 Christmas holiday at Avril's parents' house. Her brother Matthew and his wife joined the family at the Levines' Ontario home. Rumors are Brody, 27, and Avril, 26, are very serious about one another. They've been dating for almost 1 year. Avril has been working on her fashion line. Her fashion line, Abby Dawn, was initially distributed by Kohl's, an American chain retail store. But after poor sales and little marketing, Kohl's ended its relationship with Levine. Avril reclaimed her brand. In December 2010, Avril relaunched an exclusive website for her fashion line named abbydawn.com. Avril debuted her new single from her album Goodbye Lullaby on the Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve 2011 with host Ryan Seacrest. Fans were ecstatic to finally hear new music from the princess of pop punk. Avril did not disappoint. Her new single, What the Hell, is a combination of the old Avril and the new Avril revealed. The pop rebel sings, "All my life I've been good, but now what the hell?" What the Hell reveals the new Avril. Avril reflects on being a good girl, but now she's stress-free, no longer married, and she is looking to have fun. Critics say this is further evidence that Avril was tired of being committed to marriage, and she was seeking to date other guys. Goodbye Lullaby will be released in the US in March of 2011. What the Hell is co-written by Swedish pop producer Max Martin. Max Martin is responsible for hit songs by the Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, Kelly Clarkson, Katy Perry, and other famous pop artists. With the scheduled release of her 4th album titled Goodbye Lullaby, Avril's reign at the top of punk pop remains secure. She's enlisted the help of producers Max Martin and Alex da Kid. Her ex-husband Derek Whibley also collaborated with her on the album. The track list includes memorable titles, Wish You Were Here, What the Hell, and Everybody Hurts. While she was on her forced hiatus from the music industry, Avril has been busy. She relaunched her clothing line, Abby Dawn, and launched her second perfume line, Forbidden Rose. Avril feels she's put together the perfect album for her fans. It's been a long 2 years since her last release.
If I were to say anything to Avril Lavigne, I would tell her to keep up with the good work. I love her work.
Right from the start, I just really loved her music, thought she had a really cute, fun, punk edge to her.
I think that Avril actually has the talent to actually be around for another 5 or 10 years. For however long her talent will take her to.
If I could say anything to Avril, what would I say? I would actually say thank you for giving back. Thank you for relying more on your talent and not so much on your off the stage antics. Thank you for staying out of the tabloids. Thank you for staying out of rehab.
I think that she's a really great person to represent just strong women and young girls to really stand up for what you believe in.
Your heiress to the throne is back, and she's ready to defend her title as the pop punk princess.